Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Ryan here, Heavenly Hills Homestead. So, guys, this time of year to me is filled with emotions, filled with a lot of happiness and joy watching these things grow to the enormous sizes that they have, that we started way back. Some of these things, like peppers, were started as early as December and January of last year, okay? And so, you know, pumpkins, they're started in April. To see it all come to fulfillment is a lot of fun, a lot of joy. But there's also a whole lot of heartbreak in this. If I'm going to be completely transparent and honest with you guys, this time of year is probably the most depressing time of year for me. I love fall. I love the air, I love the temperature, I love the colors. I hate it all in the same breath because I know what's coming. Fall will end, winter will begin, and winter here in West Virginia, it sucks. It just sucks. There's no life at all, no life whatsoever, and I like watching things grow. I have a very difficult time with this, especially you're trying to grow it indoors and stuff. It's just hard to do here. Not a lot of space in the house, so you know it's just hard. I have to have something growing for fulfillment and joy in my life. If I'm going to be completely honest, it is depressing to me. I hate winter. I used to love winter. Used to love it because it was Christmas, it was my birthday, whatever, right? This, though, has brought me more joy and happiness and peace than I could ever imagine. And so when it ends, so does that little bit of that joy and peace and happiness kind of fades with it. Get excited for the new season, get excited for the next year because we don't know what's going to hold, but in that same breath, it is very depressing. And so here we are, we're out here, we're going to have a hard frost tomorrow, maybe even some ice. It is October 22nd, 2023, and so we're going to go through here. We're going to harvest stuff today. We're going to save some of these plants. It's going to be a long video, guys. We're going to try to fit a lot into it, and then we'll probably break them down into segments as well, but and then like maybe break them down in some different videos too. That way you don't have to watch the entire thing if you don't want to. But yeah, I mean, it's fun, but yet it's still sad and depressing. So here we have one of our Etuda peppers that we've grown. I'm going to save this plant right here because it has produced some big monsters. So we're going to dig that one up and save it. We'll put it in a smart pot and save it. We'll try to overwinter it. Got lots of corn to harvest. More corn over there, giant corn over there. That's going to be harvested. Got some huckleberries we're going to harvest to make some huckleberry jellies and stuff like that out of. Just so I can make sure that these seeds stop. We're going to save our manzano plant here. We don't have not one ripe manzano on here yet, but we're gonna save it. I don't know why I haven't gotten any ripe ones off of it, but it is what it is, I reckon. Anyhow, we're going to go through here. We're going to do a lot of that. We'll kind of talk about it. We're not going to, we're not going to show every piece of this, but we'll talk about what we're going to do. I have a pumpkin over there that was not there last week. I mean, obviously it was there last week, but it wasn't there last week. It wasn't that big to where you could notice it. And it's on that 958 cook. And so if I could just kind of go down this rabbit hole for a minute to talk to you about seeds and stuff. So seeds are like children. Every one of them are going to produce differently and things. And what we've seen with that 958 cook this year has been phenomenal. So the first pumpkin that we pollinated on there ended up growing to 602 pounds. Big, beautiful orange, round pumpkin, right? You guys seen that one. That was the one that went, the first one that went to the country store, Grandview Country Store. Somebody kicked the face of it in or something. I don't know what happened, but had a big hole in the front of it the next day. Anyhow, we got that pumpkin, took to them, as well as the 421 or something like that we took up there to them off of the 1016 cook that we had those issues. We learned a lot this year about pumpkin growing. This has probably been my most insightful year of pumpkin growing that I've ever had, because I learned a ton of what to look for, what these plants can handle, what they can do, and so I learned a lot. I've learned tons of stuff. But that 602 was there. We blew the main, and you guys can go back and watch the videos from this past season. You'll see what I'm talking about. We literally blew the main. We'll go down there and take a look at it in a minute. And everybody said that plant's done. Pull that plant out. Get rid of it. It's over. It's done. It's toast. I don't like doing that, guys. If you know me very well, you know that if I plant a pumpkin seed, more than likely that pumpkin plant, if it grows big enough to be put in the patch, it's going to grow, and we're going to let it grow. Okay. Now I will call them. You know, when I look at two plants and say, okay, well, this is the better out of the two, I'll call the one, of course, but they all get a shot. Now, that plant had been planted. It was good sized plant. It was getting faster growing and stuff, and I just put a little bit too much nitrogen down and blew that main. Well, it wasn't feeding anything past the break. It was feeding everything back past the break. So, or before the break, excuse me. So everything after the break, it wasn't feeding very much. Everything before the break, it was pumping. Well, out of caution, I pollinated the other pumpkin that we called Pig. That was literally right behind you. You're pretty much sitting where it was. So anyhow, we called that one Pig. Didn't really name any of them this year. We named that one Pig. We named that one Kinsey. We named the ugly one Sloth. Didn't really name any of the rest of them. But anyhow, what I learned is if you gotta be willing to take the chances. Every day I come out here, and after the break, everything after that break was wilty and just blood, looked like it was going to die. And I would come out for 15 minutes and I would water. I mean, hammer the water to that plant. The leaves would come back up, be fine for the rest of the day. Every day for 2 weeks solid, I'd done that to that plant. Now, that pumpkin ended up going to 602 pounds. It was only getting about 5 to 10 pounds a day after that break. It just really wasn't growing much. But the pig plant was. And everything back here. And so I let this whole area fill in. You guys remember what it looked like. All this back here was filled in. All down along the pumpkin plant over there, because my longboards wouldn't grow. So I just planted all down through. Oh, I didn't plant. I let the plant go and run all the way down the fence line there between the garden and the fence. And we have roughly, I think, probably about 16 to 1,700 square foot of plant is what we had, I think. I could be wrong, but I think that's about what we had. All this was down through here was one big long main, or not main, but one big long secondary and several other little secondaries. And then this up here was one big long secondary right here feeding pig, and it was nice. It was pretty cool just to watch it all and how it done. I mean, the secondaries are that big around. Anyhow, if you'll recall, back in September, end of August, beginning of September, I found like 200 plus pound pumpkins in here. Then I ended up finding one that was 150 pounds in here. And then, you know, I pulled them all out. Pig ended up growing, doing great. And that's the one that Chris Long floated in. Had I pulled this plant, there would have been no pumpkin for Chris Long to float in. Well, I mean, there would have been, but it wasn't a very good one. My 1,750 square foot plant would have been the next choice, but it just the way it was shaped, there wouldn't have been a lot of room for him. So anyhow, I get out here today, we're cleaning up the patch, and I look from the top of the yard down as I'm, you know, looking at everything and how to clean it up, and I see this over here, and it's massive. It's at least 350 pounds. Guys, I'm telling you, y'all know me. I know when pumpkins are here and when they're not. I know what to leave and what not. At the end of the season, when we're as close to picking as what we were, I kind of leave stuff alone and don't worry about fooling with them much. You know what I mean? I just let them do their thing. This thing over here, I didn't see at all. Did not see that thing at all. And it just blew up over the past week. And it's phenomenal. We'll take you over and get you a closer look at it here in a minute. It was growing so fast, it's cracked everywhere and everything. So what I'm trying to tell you, going back to the seed part, is the 958 Cook has proven to be a great seed. I'm going to take you around and let you see everything here in a second. It's a 1965 Rotobaugh, which is a great seed. That's the mother. And it was crossed with a 2195 Tile. Another great seed. All right, so that's the father. It produces a very pretty orange pumpkin with those starburst-like patterns, all right, or spots, whatever you want to call it. Very pretty. Very bright orange, very pretty orange. Here's what's weird. The 602 that it first grew was a round pumpkin, short pumpkin, right? The one that we let Chris Long float in, it's like 800 and some pounds. I have to go back and look at everything. The 800 and some pound, very long pumpkin. And when I say long, I mean long, over 5 feet. This thing was taller than I was, all right, and wide. I mean, it was at least that wide, like 3.5 foot wide, all right, 3.5 foot wide, maybe even. I know if you go from ground to ground, side to side, the measurement was 101, I think is what that measurement was. And then it was 100 and maybe it was 99 wide and 101 long. Maybe that was what it was. So anyhow, very long, very long pumpkin, very wide pumpkin, which is weird. And every fruit that I've seen on here after that has been a very long pumpkin. Like, I'll show you some of these that are just sitting here. They're very long. What's weird is that one is not long. It was round, just like the 602, the big one that's over here now. But the majority of these have all been oblong pumpkins like the pig pumpkin was. But at any rate, it's cool to see the variation in one plant. You know, long versus round. Generally, they're either one shape or the other. You don't see the multiple shapes on one plant. So I thought that is very telling, very interesting, all right, to see two different shapes in one plant. The other thing that I think is very interesting, it produced 600 pounds, 602 pounds there, 800 and some pounds here, right? So that's what, 1,400 pounds, right? All right, so then, and then we produced a couple 100-pounders. There was like 110, 115 pounds that they produced. And then the 152-pound one that it produced. So you add those weights in, right? So now you're well over, you know, what, like 1,600 pounds, 1,700 pounds already. Now we got this 350-pound one down here. I mean, that plant produced 2,000 pounds. That is my first plant to have ever hit 2,000 pounds. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited. Now, last year, my 665 had it was 665 pounds. And it produced 18 other pumpkins that were 50 pounds to 100 pounds. The majority of them was 50 to 75. We did have like 3 that were 100, okay? In total, I added it up, and I think we were right at like 1,500 pounds on one plant, okay? This is cool because this tells me that these plants can produce phenomenal weight, even late into the season, because that pumpkin was not, again, it was there, but you couldn't see that it was there last week. So within a week, late season, plant completely and utterly destroyed, okay, by early light frost, okay, and it still pushed all that. It's phenomenal. It's crazy. So we're going to set this down. I'm going to come and grab you guys for a minute. We're going to kind of walk you around, show you this plant. This will be segment 1 of this. And like I say, we'll probably just break this down into a couple different videos. But let's go ahead and grab you off here. We'll show you what we're talking about. So the majority of them kind of oblongish, right? And you guys, you'll see the plant. All this plant here belong to the 958 Cook. And you see here, this is another oblong one, right? Very oblong, right? You guys can see in here, that one there is pretty round. It's more roundish pumpkin, kind of like the first one, right? Here's where this one was sitting at, the pig pumpkin. You guys, let me zoom y'all out. Look how big that is, guys. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am stretched all the way, and I can't even touch. You know, like it's that wide, y'all. I mean, and I'm stretched as far as I can get. I mean, I can't stretch no further than that. All right, so anyhow, very, very wide pumpkin. Another oblong one here. And guys, these are not by any means like little pumpkins. I mean, they're little, but they're not little. You know what I mean? That's basketball almost size right there. Another big one up here. Growing by the compost. Oblong again, right? You guys can see that is basketball size there, right? So got that. You guys can see we had quite a bit of plant here. You know, secondaries are big and healthy secondaries. Here's the one that was feeding pig right here. Look at that thing. That thing is massive, right? So anyhow, there's a few other ones in here. We'll take you down here and show you. And by the way, you guys can look at that plant. That plant's been toast for 2 weeks now. I mean, just absolute toast. Nothing to really speak of. There's my long gourd right here. Piece of crap. Don't know what happened to that thing this year. I don't know what happened to the long gourds. They just did not want to grow. Here's this secondary, the really, really big one. Right, and you guys can see it come from up there. That's secondary. Well, here, let's follow it so you guys can see how long this secondary is. And I'll show you that break while we're here. So here's the break. Here's the break that was in this right here. There it is right there. Okay, you guys can see that's where I blew it out. That is the blowout right there. That's the main. Okay, here is the stump right here. Stump looks great, by the way. It's even trying to regrow some new stuff, man. I'm telling you, this thing is awesome. Anyway, here's that secondary right here. It's the second secondary. First secondary goes right here and goes back. That's what pig was growing on. Here's the second secondary right here. Goes back here. You guys can see. Let's follow it along all the way. I mean, look how big that thing is, y'all. That thing is monstrous. Look at that. It's a monster. Yeah, I can't barely touch. Anyhow, keep on going. Go through here. Here's the main. Or excuse me, secondary. Keep on saying main. Secondary is right here. Comes all the way up here. Right from here. We'll cover it some. Had a big break there and then went back to another tertiary. Here's all this right here. There it is. Alright. So you guys can see this tertiary, or excuse me, this secondary was massive. Alright, and it ends all the way down here where I deadheaded that. I deadheaded it right there. So if you guys look how far we've came. So here's 8 foot between these. They're 8, 16, 24, 32, plus whatever is there. Probably about a 40 some foot long secondary. And there is our big gal right there. Now I'm telling y'all, don't let the camera fool you, because that thing is a pig. There's my hand. All right, that thing's every bit of 300 to 350 pounds. It's a tall pumpkin. Look at what all it did back here. All that is dried, solid, and hard, right? When you guys can look here, it's, see, solid and hard. Crazy what this plant has done with a pumpkin this late in the season with no plant. Really no plant at all to speak of. I mean, like I say, the plant is toast because of a light early frost. And wasn't nothing to speak. I mean, it was, but it pushed this still. It's crazy how it done it. So if you're looking for a really good seed that you ain't gonna have to spend an arm and a leg for, all right, highly encourage you to buy the 958 Cook. Great, I can't say enough good things about this plant. All right, now that was crossed with, the pig is crossed with the 665 Cook, so it should get even oranger. So we got that going for it. And then you got all, I mean, it's just, you know, if you wanted to buy the pig cross, you can buy that, or you can buy the 958. I have both, you know. So I got the 958, which was grown last year, all right, which grew this plant this year. And then I'll have the cross that came off the pig pumpkin that was sitting there, all right, which is the 665 to the Cook to the 958 Cook. So it should be a very, very good pumpkin next year. Like I say, this is just a phenomenal plant. Never had a good plant like this. Big, healthy, nice plant. I contribute a lot of that to a lot of different things. Look at that, just trying to grow still. It's just crazy. Like I say, I contribute it to a lot of things. One thing I contribute it to is just the overall soil health, because of all the biologics that we put in there. I mean, look here, look here. Look at that pumpkin from here. Is that not just crazy? I mean, it's massive, y'all. Massive. That I can't believe it. Just can't believe that it got that big that quick. So anyhow, got a lot of stuff going on today, so we're gonna jump right to it and start doing it. Yeah, so we'll bring you back in a minute whenever we're into part 2 of this video. Hey y'all, got some really nice, big, beautiful corn going on here. I'm gonna pick all this, and we'll dry some of it out and be able to sell it for next year, and also plant it for next year. This is Jackson, I think, something Jackson. I can't remember the exact. It's Jackson something. I have to go back and look. But anyhow, really sweet corn, very good. See, we got hit by some corn worms there. I mean, it happens. We're gonna collect it all, get it all out of here, and start to get it in the house so we can process it. Poor germination, or excuse me, poor pollination on that one. Right here seems to be pretty good. We'll till the majority of this back into it, back into the soil. That got hit by corn worms pretty bad. Yeah, that one there, pretty bad. Feed that to the chickens. That's all we're gonna do is just go down through here and pick away and see what's here, what can be used and what can't. This one here feels like a good little nugget. Oh yeah, perfect. Perfect little thing there. That's what we want to see. So as soon as we get this done, we'll start to pick some of the beets and things. This is a good ear right here, I think. Let's make sure the corn, I see some, oh yeah. Yeah, they got in there pretty bad. But the majority of the ear looks good, so probably can save it for seeds. That's all we do. That's all we do. We just see what they are and what they ain't, and if they're good, we'll either save them for seed, or we'll save them for eating. But if they're no good, then we pitch them to the chickens. Like when they're like really nasty, like if they got any kind of mold or anything like that, you don't want that in the seed, so we throw that stuff away. This corn produces about 2 good ears. Sometimes you get 3 good ears off of it. First year growing it, it's been good to eat. It's been good for drought tolerance and stuff, so we like that. And it's produced a lot of corn, which we also like. So, and we'll pull these corn cobs, stick them in the front yard, and get us a little setup up there with our giant squash and some of the giant pumpkins we have left, and we'll just make a nice little display up there. Again, I don't know if you heard me, but like I said, we're going to use these corn stalks to make a nice little display up in the front yard. So let me continue to pick all this. We'll bring you back when we start picking some beets out of here and we start to pull the corn stalks. All right, guys, got a lot of corn stalks here piled up. Got this big pile here. Get these out. I'm going to cut these out here. We harvest them out here. I'm going to cut all the huckleberries out like that. So we can harvest them all out there. Stupid spiny amaranth crap. Out of here now. I'm going to give you some words of advice for getting compost. If you get it, you probably should try to take it inside. A couple buckets full of it, and if you get it early spring or in the fall, I'd get some. And from now on, I'm going to take it in and try to germinate stuff in it and see and let it grow and see what comes up. See what's there at 4 or 5 weeks after germination. Had I known that all that spiny amaranth would have been in this stuff and some of the other stuff, the gypsum and stuff like that, I would have burnt every bit of that before I ever put it in. I would have made fires and just heated that stuff up really hot and tried to kill the weed seeds. We're getting ready to do that here in just a second. Make sure I got all these out of here. All these huckleberries up here. Because these things have been a thorn in my side since 2021 when I first planted some. Didn't think they'd be bad, and they're not bad. They're a good food source, and they come back every year. That's a good thing. but they come back way too much. They're too potent. Seeds are just way too prevalent, I guess you could say. But we're going to harvest these and make some jams and jellies because we've got enough to do it with. So we might as well. Got one more down here to cut. But yeah, you really need to watch, exactly what you plant, where you plant it at, as well as checking your compost. So those are my two tips right now for you guys as we're wrapping up 2023. Check your compost before you put it in your garden. Just test it out, see what grows in it, and see what weed seeds you got there, because you don't want to get some of this stuff started like the spiny amaranth. And the second thing is, watch where you plant your stuff. If you're going to have something like these have something like these huckleberries here, just be aware of what they do, how they grow, right? And then kind of go from there. Kind of watch how you grow them, where you plant them at. Now if these was planted up in the top of the yard, no big deal with them growing up there. All right, I can take care of that pretty easily and stuff. It's a little area and easily took care of. But back here in this, I've got them literally sprawled all over this entire patch in here. And that's just way too much to try to keep them out of and everything. Next year we will have to buy some new garden fabric, I think. Once we get all this cleared out, we're probably going to pull that garden fabric up this winter. Probably get rid of it all, throw it away, whatever. Might keep some of the pieces that are good still, but the majority of it probably get thrown away. We'll till this entire patch up and leave it sit over the winter like that. So that's the plan anyhow. Now, we've pretty much got everything. Well, no we didn't. We gotta pull some beets real quick. So let me see here. Pull some of these little beautiful little golden beets. I love a golden beet. They're very nutritious and delicious. We like them a lot. We'll grab these and take them in and probably have them for dinner tonight. There's a white beet. We'll have some of Chili Mac's baby back ribs, I think, tonight. So these golden beets will go really good with that. As you see there, they're so delicious. We love golden beets. I need to buy some more and get them planted before it gets way too cold to germinate them. I also need to plant some in the inside there in the greenhouse. We're gonna have to. I gotta get my smart pot ready in there and other stuff ready in there and get some more of these beets going. Oh, what we got here? Oh, it's a massive white beet. There we go. Look at that beautiful albino beet there. Another one right here. Big, beautiful albino beet. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. Golden beets. That's where it's at, y'all. I love the golden beet. It's really sweeter type of beet. It tastes a lot better, I think, than any of the rest. Now, I like pickled beets. Don't get me wrong. A pickled beet is a good beet. I like it. There's some good size, a little bit bigger than a golf ball right there. Did pretty good. Being shaded out pretty much all the whole time it was going. There's a really nice golden beet there. Beautiful colored. Nice one. Alright, we can get them all. There's another couple of them here. There's another big one. Really nice one there. Look at that thing. Beautiful. Another good couple few towards this entire area right here, and try to kill any weed seeds or anything that's there. Oh, got another big old golden beet here. Grab these up. Oh wow, there were two big ones right there. Didn't even see them. Look at them. Two big nice ones. I have to make sure I got them all. This right here is all we're going to do. We're going to go through here. Burn all the seeds as best we can. So as soon as we get done doing this, we'll bring you back. Like I say, we're just going to burn all these weed seeds here as best as possible. If you got stuff that'll catch on fire, it's even better. Catch it on fire and just let it burn right there. That's what we want. We want it to burn, burn, burn. Alright guys, so we'll bring you back in just a minute so we get all this burnt out.
Don't forget to smash that like button. That notification bell. Don't get the
Good job. Here you go. Thank you.
Don't get the
Don't forget to share. Yep. There you go. Good job. And
And
subscribe.